Hello, and welcome to Construction Programs and Results newsletter. I'm Michael Stone. There's a time and a place for most everything, and a few weeks ago we decided it was time to wrap up our two-day classes, Making the Numbers Work in Construction. We'll hold the final two-day intensive class this December 10th and 11th. It will be online, and the recording will be available to all who register at $349 prior to the class and $389 after the class. You can include the books Markup and Profit Revisited and Profitable Sales for $20 each when you register. This class, titled Making the Numbers Work in Construction, began in Millwood, New York in November of 2014. Since then, we have done the class in 28 states and 47 cities, counting our hometown of Camas, Washington. The final class will be the 57th class. We aren't going away. We'll continue to publish our newsletter every 2 weeks and plan to continue the 1-hour events in 2021, although possibly at a slower pace. We're still planning to cruise in April and would love to have you join us. We have been on several cruises with many of our friends from the construction world, and they have been a lot of fun. A link to information on the two-day class and the cruise is in the notes below. Tomorrow we'll hold a rescheduled 1-hour online event on contract allowances. I will address both material and installed allowances, pricing, contract language, and how to avoid them, etc. We will talk for about 20 or 25 minutes and then take questions from the attendees. Today is Veterans Day, and I'd like to extend my personal gratitude to those of you who have also served our country in the military. You are greatly appreciated. Now, today's newsletter is on a topic that continues to crop up. Why do you need a written construction contract? I often hear from contractors in conflict with a client. Almost always that conflict would and could have been avoided or quickly resolved if there was a clear, detailed construction contract between the parties. Many contractors use a standard 1 or 2-page construction contract on their jobs. A short contract, no matter how well written, cannot possibly contain all the language needed to protect you in today's marketplace. It leaves too many things unsaid, and those holes and gaps in the contract let the owner interpret it in ways that you never anticipated. For instance, during the sales call, the building owner brings up a particular item that they want included in their job. You discuss it, and then they change their mind for whatever reason. As sure as the sun comes up, after the contract is signed and while the job is being built, the building owner remembers that item and wants to know why it hasn't been done. You remind them of the conversation, but they remember it differently. They were certain it was included in the project, and now they won't pay you any more money until, you know how that ends. There's an old saying that the dullest pencil is better than the sharpest mind at remembering things. Don't count on your memory or your client's memory. You need to write a contract that covers the job and specifies everything you will or won't do. If you don't spell it out, it can cost you. That's an example of the job details that should be in writing, but there's more. A well-written construction contract has 3 sections. It defines the parties to the contract. It clearly covers the job details, like the example above, and then it covers the legal details. The legal details aren't just what's required by law. You should also address construction-specific issues. These are the real-life issues contractors face, such as asbestos, material cost increases, change work orders, building access, reinstalling used materials, hidden conditions, building codes, standards to match existing construction, punch list, the payment schedule, and its related what-ifs, and much more. We have a software program called Fast Track Proposal Writer that covers much of this legalese. You can use the program to write your contracts or copy the language and place it in your own Word document. Craftsman Book Company also has a software program written by an attorney that is state-specific, meeting the legal requirements for each state. In my opinion, the best contract includes language from both programs. Whatever you use, have your attorney check your contract language before you use it. They will know any local requirements that should be added. It is far cheaper to pay for a few hours of your attorney's time up front than to hand them a deposit of $1,500 or more to defend you from an unhappy or unscrupulous customer. They don't need to review every contract. Bring them all the language you might possibly use, and once that language is reviewed and blessed, it can be used for most of your future contracts. All you need to add then are the job details. A detailed remodeling contract for a job of $100,000 should be around 30 to 35 pages. A smaller job might be 15 to 20 pages in length. The more detail, the better. It protects both you and your client. All contracts need to be reviewed with your potential client in person before they are signed. Don't send it by email. Sit down with them and go over the details in their entirety. Not everyone will read your contract, let alone understand or agree with it. It's your job to communicate what the contract says and means. This will reduce misunderstandings or unfounded expectations about the contract, and it will also help you get the contract signed so you can go forward with the job. Someday I'm hopeful people will read this article and say, why did they write this article? Everyone signs a clear contract before making a commitment worth $1,000 or more. Unfortunately, that is not what's happening today. I'm not a fan of lots of rules and regulations, but so many more construction-related businesses would survive if every contractor was required to pass a test about contracts and additional work orders before they could hire themselves out to the public. They don't need to know the laws. They need to know what a solid contract should include, when to write a change work order, and understand the importance of a solid contract before money changes hands and work on their job begins. When you do something in your business that puts you at risk, like writing a skimpy contract, you not only put your company at risk, but your family, your home, your marriage, and your health as well. That is the reality of life. If you aren't or haven't been writing solid contracts, now is a real good time to get started. Thanks for watching. May the profits be with you, and we'll see you next newsletter.